So I've only got 5 minutes on an I stand in between everyone and lunch. So I assume Judy knows I like talking, so she's limited what I can say. So I'll launch straight into it. This is a collaborative project, so I'm actually standing here representing work that's been done by DBCA, Roy Hill, and Phylation, and ourselves. And it wouldn't have happened without Judy Dunlop twisting my arm and Harriet pestering me back about 5 years ago and forcing us to buy, not forcing, but pushing us to buy a Felixer. So thank you. Just legal disclaimer. Don't believe what I say. But no. First up, pay my respects to the traditional owners, especially the Nyamal people, who this work was completed upon. So straight into it, we basically had 3 Felixers, and we tested them in conservative mode. Initially, we did a photo trial. The photo trial ran from April 2018 to January 2020. And initially, that was at Indy Station, where there's lots of northern corals. And then we moved it to North Star, which is one of our mine sites. And it's in the Pilbara region of Western Australia, for those that aren't aware. The next stage of the project was a toxic trial. So thanks to the hard work of Judy and Corin Everett and DBCA, we managed to get a permit so we could actually load them with 1080, and we loaded them with 4 baits each. There was a lot of logistical challenges I think people have talked about, and we had to overcome a lot of those and add a layer of mining people on top of that and health and safety. It was a lot of work. This is a map of the study area. So it's basically a ridge running north-south. The black triangles I'll draw your attention to are where we placed the Felixers. We picked those locations as foci where we thought northern coral would be moving. Where we thought feral cats would be moving, so we could target the cats. But importantly, we positioned them in areas where we expected northern coral to be running around. We had monitoring cameras set up at the same time. They're the green dots, and the blue dots are where we have a larger regional round our mine monitoring program. It is quite an inaccessible area as well, so we wanted to keep people away. So the photo-only trial, the first results where we had over 1,307 photo trigger events with no false positives, which was great news. 11 feral cats were identified as targets. 13 weren't identified as targets. Again, it's because of that conservative mode we're running in, we think. But importantly, 226 northern corals weren't identified as targets. So we had confidence from the photo-only trial that they weren't going to shoot our corals. So we then moved the Felixer to North Star. You can see the photo of the setup here. I had to convince someone to drive out with a massive drum full of concrete that we could chain the Felixers to, which they loved. And then we basically ran them for about 9 months on site. We had 504 photo trigger events, 0 false positives in that time. We identified, 6 cats walked past and were fired upon by Gerald. And based on looking at our cameras set up in the surrounding area, we never saw those cats again. So the assumption is they've died. An additional 8 cats sort of went past backwards and forwards. Looking at their spots and their patterns and naming the cats, we calculated that about 67% of the cats in the area were targeted, which is, a pretty good result. We think there's about 9 cats in that area. And probably the most important thing, we did actually get 2 northern corals run past, and they weren't identified as targets, which gave us a lot of confidence that they're safe to use around northern corals. So my key takeaways, we found the Felixers were successful. We successfully removed 6 cats out of 9 in that area. And there was no impacts to the northern coral or other fauna in that area. We're continuing with the trial, so we've now got Leslie Gibson from DBCA helping us and leading us, I guess, Corin Everett as well, and Harriet. And we're continuing and hopefully going to deploy them in the standard mode after we finish a trial now in the photo-only mode of the conservative mode. So hopefully, yeah, there'll be less cats at North Star. So thank you.